Okay, I did some shot groups with the QB78, and what I did is I kind of strung them all together and taped them. So what this is it's the QB78. This is done at 15 yards with the Hawk 2 to 7 by 32 mil dot scope. It's 12 sets of 5, which is 60 shots. The pellet I used was an 8.2 grain meisterkugeln. This is a wad cutter pellet. 8.2 grain is an option for people that want to shoot a cheaper pellet, but has kind of the same or close accuracy as the RWS R10 8.2 grain, which is a competition grade pellet. And the average group size on this was 0.593, so just over half-inch groups for shots of 5 sets or whatever. So I wrote that on the front for the information, and then I'm going to show you all the groups and what happened here. So we start with the warm-up shots, 5 shots right here. 5/8 of an inch or 625. Second set, half inch or 0.500. And what I decided to do with this is 4 clicks to the right, because I thought that this was kind of over a little bit, so I moved it. And sure enough, landed right where I wanted it to. And then 5/8, 625, 5/8, 625, 3/8, 375. That was a little better group there. 7/8, 875, 3/4, 750, 7/8, 875, 3/8, 375. And then when I found that the shots were drifting over here, I decided to go 2 clicks left. And sure enough, the 2 clicks left got me back near the center here. So once again, 1/2 inch or 0.500, half inch, 0.500, half inch, 0.500 for the 12 set of 5. Now, this is with 2 CO2s in the QB78, and so after you fire 60 shots, this is what you can expect. If you go over 60, sometimes you get lucky, like right here. This group here happens to be, I'd say probably 3/4 of an inch group. Shots number 60 through 65 or whatever. And then, well, actually 61, but if you look here, shots 65 through 70, we still see that it's getting some kind of a group. But then once you push it over 70, it starts to waterfall on you. And as you can see, shot 75 landed way down here, but I was aiming here. So it goes to show you that there is a limitation on how much you can use the CO2. So what I found out is indoor at 65 degrees or 70 or whatever, that you're going to get 60 really good shots, maybe 65. So if you want to see more about the QB78, you can look that up on my video log on my channel. So here's a tomahawk pellet. Now, if any of you know anything about tomahawk pellets or any kind of gamma pellet, is they have problems with accuracy. And that's because the quality control isn't really there as much. So this QB78 2 to 7 by 32. This was used on 7x power, just like the other groups I showed you, 15 yards, 7.8 grain tomahawk. So we see the first group there, pretty wide. Second group, I decided to pull it over 1 click to the right, because I thought that was drifting a little too far. So I pulled it over to the right on the second group. Third group, 1 click left to correct that, because I thought I overdid it there a little bit. Four set, all over the place. Bad pellet. That's what that is. That's a bad pellet when it does that stuff. Okay, now, when I got to number 5, I put fouling question. With some rifles, what happens is the more you shoot pellets through it, sometimes it increases the accuracy because you have some lead fouling in the barrel. Sometimes a barrel that's fouled can actually be more accurate than a clean barrel. So I put question mark fouling on that and found out that the shots were improving just a little bit. They're still bigger than I want them. They're still about 1-inch groups to 1.5 inches, which is, when it gets to be like that, where it's over 1 inch, that's kind of terrible for 15 yards since it's a rifled barrel. But once again, I'm using Gammo pellets. So like this one here is 1.5 inch group probably. This one's a 1 inch group. So what you learn from this is consistency of your pellet and which pellet to choose. A pellet that I use most in this rifle is a 10.34 grain Air Arms Heavy. That gives me 1/2 inch average groups. The meisterkugeln gives me 0.593, so the accuracy, obviously with this wad cutter, is a little worse than that. But if you notice from shot to shot, you can see there's consistency within that orange dot there. It's consistently staying pretty much within the orange dot zone, which is a 1 inch orange dot. Based off the groups, we can predict in ideal conditions that if we double this, number right here, that means that at 30 yards, we would be probably 1 inch, 1.25 groups, maybe 1.5 inch groups we could expect at 25 yards with this pellet, because what you do is, it doesn't always work. Sometimes it works. I tested it outside, but sometimes, if you shoot something at 15 yards and you double what your group size is to 30 yards, if you double that number, that'll show you basically what kind of accuracy you can expect without even going out in yard and shooting at 25 yards. But it doesn't always work, but as a general rule, usually groups double in distance. So if the group's like that, within 30 yards, this number is going to double too. Something like that. But it's good to tape these all together and stuff, and then what you can do is you can take them with you and show people. So that way you can show the consistency of this pellet right here based off of these sheets. And then that's how you determine what pellet you're going to use, is you try every pellet at every distance, at every speed. For instance, if you have a pump rifle, you want to switch out your speeds and stuff like that. So distance, speed, a lot of variables that you want to check out to ensure you're using the right pellets for the right distance or whatever. So this was done at 15 yards. I think I would be happy shooting this pellet at 25 yards because I do have 1.5 inch metal swing targets that would go with this rifle real nice, even though it's not the most accurate rifle. Like I said, I did get 1/2 inch group averages on 60 shots with the 10.34, which is probably fine for a CO2 rifle. I don't really know how good the rifling in the barrel is. I could buy another barrel for $30, $40, install it, and see if that improves the accuracy. Sometimes it does, because some barrels from the company you might get better accuracy depending on which barrel you choose. So I know a couple guys that have bought a couple barrels, and they say it does make a difference. You'll always have one barrel that's a little bit better rifling. So, but anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and anytime you test pellets, even if you think they're bad pellets, it's good to do a 60 shot test. Like say 1 inch circle at 15 yards, shoot sets of 5 till you get to 60. See how the pellet performs, and then you can proceed to reject the pellet like I'm doing with this Gammo Tomahawk. But doesn't mean that it's going to do bad in every rifle, but this particular rifle I'm not happy with anything that doesn't group, a certain size. And I think that when you go over an inch at 15 yards, you're really asking for it at longer ranges as far as not having any accuracy. So I like to keep everything within a half inch if I can at 15 yards, because the whole goal is to hit a 1-inch target at 25 yards, which is kind of like an unofficial hunting standard that people in England use for pest control, like pest birds and rabbits and different things like that. So that's also like field target and stuff out to 25 yards. Sometimes they shoot at 1-inch targets like these, or they'll have a field target, a metal field target, and they'll put a circle in it that's smaller at longer ranges, to see if they get more accuracy. But as a general rule, 1-inch target at 25 yards, you want to be able to hit something like that. So if you're going off, the hunting standard or whatever. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.